Welcome back to the Hill. Chicago, Shreveport, Fort Worth, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia. Just some of the latest cities experiencing a wave of gun violence. Since Sunday, for example, 22 people have been killed and 117 wounded in those cities alone. Joining us now to talk about this wave of violence and what might be causing it, the Democratic Congressman from Maryland, Glenn Ivey. He's also a former federal and state prosecutor. He now represents a suburban Washington, D.C. area that has experienced its own share of gun violence. Congressman, thank you for joining us here on the Hill on NewsNation. I'm sure you saw the stories, you saw the headlines over the weekend. It's awful. It's horrifying to see. Why do you believe, Congressman, that we are seeing this uptick?
Well, I think there's a variety of possible reasons for it. I think some of this appears to have grown out of COVID. There's some mental health issues with respect to things that didn't happen, counseling that people didn't get while they were when they were out of school. That was a problem. I think having 400 million of these guns on our streets is another huge issue. And I think there is an effort. We need to do more to get these guns off the street. Congress needs to pass some additional legislation, which we can talk about more of. And I think we need to do more in the communities with respect to intervention and prevention programs, too.
You know, you talk about guns off the street and what can be done legislatively. We often hear Democrats like yourself talk about that. But I was interested to hear you go to the mental health component first, because that's often where Republicans go first. But you think that is a real issue that needs to be addressed as well coming out of COVID?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, a lot of the shooters that we have in these mass shootings are first-time offenders. So we know it's not simply, you know, we're not being tough enough with first-time offenders or, you know, people that had previous records. Sometimes these are young men who are coming out with no prior records or only minor offenses. They're picking up AR-15s or other weapons of war, and they're going out and killing as many people as they can get the sights on. So I think in order to address that, since we have so many guns out there, we need to try and find ways to separate the guns from the people who have mental issues as much as possible and reduce the amount of violence on that.
Would you consider a bipartisan bill? Would you consider a bipartisan bill, Congressman, and what might that look like?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've proposed a bill. In fact, I made a plea during one of the Judiciary Committee hearings to my Republican colleagues, including some of the Freedom Caucus. Is there any legislation you'd be open to moving forward? And this was after they raised the mental health issue. So, you know, I think red flags is one approach. You know, I think additional counseling in schools or other places could be another one. But, you know, I think we have to try those sorts of things. And then gun restrictions like, you know, ghost guns, you know, there's no reason to have those out on the street. I think raising the age to 21 would help if we're not going to have an assault bans. Let's at least raise the age to 21, just like we have with handguns.
But that wouldn't get bipartisan support.
More extensive background checks is another option, too.
But that wouldn't get bipartisan support. That wouldn't get bipartisan support, though.
The assault weapons ban? No, it won't.
And raising the age to
21. Actually, it did in the last Congress, and in my bill this year, we're seeking Republican support. We just introduced it a little while ago. We think we might be able to get support for that because we already passed a bill to raise the age from 18 to 21 for handguns. So why not for assault weapons and long weapons?
Pew Research poll. It's a fairly sobering poll. 62% of Americans think the level of gun violence will increase in the next 5 years. Only 7% think that it will decrease. It seems, Congressman, that this is a failure of belief, a failure of confidence, and some might say a failure of leadership, is it not?
Absolutely. I think we need to do a lot more than we have been, including the Congress, but not solely, to try and get these weapons off the street. The legislation I just talked about, I consider relatively, you know, moderate and reasonable, but we can't get much Republican support to try and move any of those things forward. Even, for example, banning ghost guns. You know, just why not have serial numbers on all of the guns that are sold so that if a crime is committed, it's easier to trace. Why won't they come out and support a bill like that? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So,
thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.